All right, we are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with five. Welcome to another edition of Gavin Reshaw Presents here on my channel, GBoot2786, and also my self-entitled channel, Gavin Reshaw on YouTube. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Right now, we have on our a historian, activist, and theologian, our brother, Dr. Randy Short, who is no stranger to the show. Oh, Doc, you clenched your face when I said theologian. I was wrong for that?
I don't know. I mean, oh wow. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you do some theology in there too, but I won't. I won't. I'll just. I ain't saying it.
Okay. Well, welcome anyway again, Dr. Randy Short. We love having you come on and give your insight about what's going on in the world today. And there's a lot that has gone on in the world. Before we begin, Doctor, you're also I want to put this out. You're also a writer and journalist, and you write for what newspaper?
PaceNewsOnline.com.
PaceNewsOnline.com. So everyone can go check out Dr. Short's editorials that he has conducted. You've had some interesting things to say about this upcoming election with Biden versus Trump, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But let me turn my fan on because I think that's what's off because I think that's why I can't hear too good. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me. So he's going to be blowing into the mic. All right. I think that's a little bit better. All right. So yeah, Dr. Short. So where was I? Oh yeah, everyone can check out Pace News Online and your work. And we have some people I'm sure that are going to be commenting because a lot of people, Doc, I could tell you when I interviewed you the last time, I had some of my highest rated views on the YouTube channel. So everybody seems to value your opinion. You were also, and we talked about this before, when you were in a documentary on Black, White, and Blue, which I discussed on the podcast. And we could talk about that briefly again if you would like. But, excuse me, I didn't want to get your take. I guess the big news these past 7 days, we've lost and I know you have some opinions on John Lewis, but he passed away this past Friday, along with C.T. Vivian. And then yesterday, lost Mr. Charles Evers, brother of Medgar Evers, who was 97. So 97 years old, who was the first black mayor of, I believe it was called Fayette, Mississippi. Charles Evers. And I guess I want to ask you, first off, did you know any of these gentlemen personally?
I knew two of them. I knew John Lewis and I knew C.T. Vivian, and I knew C.T. Vivian best. I know lots of people that know Charles Evers, people I'm close to that were friends of Charles Evers. I don't think I ever spoke to Charles Evers, maybe once.
Okay. And of course, Charles Evers, being the brother of Medgar Evers, he was around living in Mississippi. He saw firsthand, I guess, the horrors of Jim Crow and racial segregation. Mississippi, of course.
And the best person to talk about Charles Evers is my auntie, Kalia Liddell Clark, Kalia Liddell Lafayette Odell Clark, who's from Jackson, Mississippi, who worked directly, was the special executive assistant to Medgar Evers, is my auntie. She turned 80 on Tuesday, and she would know Charles very well and would know everybody. And she's one of the heroes like C.T. Vivian. The more legitimate black leaders types don't get the attention. The ones that won't lick the butthole of white supremacists, they don't know. And black people are really sick. We're really an asshole community ourselves. The people who won't get bought out, take a bribe, sell us out, we don't remember.
Right.
But we honor and celebrate the folks who stab us in the back and destroy us. So the incentive is if you're a black person that's active or involved, black folk will discard, dog, and reject me if I stand true, I may as well get mine because we're screwed as a community. So we incentivize treason and treachery by forgetting those who sacrificed for us. I mean, as much as any of the disciples of Jesus, and yet we know them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but we don't know C.T. Vivian or Kalia Clark or Fannie Lou Hamer or Septima Clark or
Right.
Harry and Henrietta Moore that were bombed in 1951, Christmas. There are a lot of black folks who literally died for us.
Yeah. The
They
deacons for
don't count.
defense. Yeah.
But if you sell out, you get remembered by the whites and by black people. We need to change that. So what I would just throw on the table, don't ask me, ask Auntie Kalia, who knows all of them, everybody. I mean, I knew lots of people that knew Charles Ed Evers. I worked with that were SNCC people. A lot of them are deceased, but good rapport on him and Medgar. C.T. Vivian, the last time I talked to C.T. Vivian, I had succeeded in my call, which was to upset him with John Lewis. But I realized because he was gone mentally, a lot of stuff, I would not allow him to do what he wanted to do based on what I told him, which was to give John Lewis a call and ask him what gives with all his promoting pedophilia and stuff that John Lewis was doing.
Right.
I met John Lewis first in 1987 and then dealt with John Lewis again in the early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. The last time I saw John Lewis in person and I went off on John Lewis was in 2007. But the other stuff. So, but I knew John Lewis. I've been to his house. I know folks that live next door to John. See, in DC, knowing politicians is like folks who live in LA that know celebrities, the people all around.
Yeah.
So, things that you don't know about politicians, they'll be up here away from their constituency doing all kinds of filthy stuff with kids. Like I saw Jesse Jr. with his mistress long before he had his breakdown. He acted like he didn't know me. Okay, Jesse Jr., I'm not mad. I don't want nothing. That wasn't Sandy Jackson. I mean, it's walking like you're all big and bad on this video with this white woman. Okay, I didn't say anything. I mean, a lot of people live in New York because in New York, nothing faces anybody most of the time. So a lot of celebrities like to be in places where people just don't care who you are, as long as you don't bother them.
Right.
In DC, this is a place for politicians to walk around. No one knows who the hell they are, or no one cares.
Yeah.
Or everybody else is political or celebrities, so they don't bother each other. It's like in the town in Wild West where everybody has a pistol strapped on their hip, so nobody's pulling no guns because everybody's got guns.
Right.
So that's all. I mean, I'm not picking. We heard these things about, and by the way, I did not really start saying anything critical of John Lewis until this Gay Equality Act, but they're going to legalize pedophilia and fighting for rights to have sex with people and funeral parlors. And I'm like, come on, man. And now I'm done.
Wait, are you talking about necrophilia?
Necrophilia is a provision is made for it in the HR 5 that John Lewis co-sponsored and voted for. Yes.
Oh, gross.
So you're doing all this. I'm not going to be quiet about, the time your wife thought he was screwing me or whatever. I'm going to just tell everything because, a lot of times, personally, if you're doing the best you can for yourself or for our people, I'm not going to say anything about your issues. But if you're an enemy, if you're betraying us, if you're hurting us, I don't have any covenant with you. I will talk about you. I will tell people what I saw you do. And I would think more Black people need to just start sounding the alarm on all the coons, all the deviants, all the liars, all the grifters, all the thugs who are making life virtually impossible for us because the only thing that matters to them is their genitalic nerve endings their bank statement, right, and their personal fame and comfort. They don't care a damn about the rest of us. And that's not acceptable because when you have a constituency, for example, you have a constituency, your audience, they expect this to be a damn good interview. If I don't say things that inform, enlighten, shock, titillate, or inform them, they're gonna let you know why you have that lame ass thing up there with the red USA fake ass Donald Trump color. They will just say a whole bunch of stuff that would be true.
Yeah.
So I have a responsibility when I talk to you today and henceforth to bring something that is educational, enlightening, stimulating, thought provoking. And of course, I'm going to try to make it funny because it's a sad ass situation that we're in. It's a shame what black people
Yeah.
are right.
It is.
So let me just say this John Lewis, and I said this on the program last night, wonderful human being, person to person, very friendly, very personable, very kind, very polite, to a fault. Never going to say that John Lewis wasn't a kind, pleasant person. I think John Lewis did want, but John was very concerned about projecting that he was one of the greatest black men that ever walked. I have my doubts. On top of that, John Lewis
You're not alone.
talked about shutting the government down for illegals. John Lewis fought for gays. John Lewis's last piece of legislation that he put out is every child deserves a loving home, which would give our black kids that are already being taken by white gays. And you're going to make that federal law with penalties. So if I don't give up a black baby to two white gay men, like Mr. Lombard down in Florida, a white man that specialized in raping and ripping up black male children, where is John Lewis? Where are these other bastards? Why should our children get raped? We have enough problems with predators in family system. We have enough problems with parents grooming their children to be prostitutes and sex slaves. Yes, this does go on. But
Yeah.
do we bring other people in? Do you know that Quan McDonald in Chicago was savagely raped in the foster care system by his Hispanic family? They just raped that boy. None of them are in jail. This what John Lewis wanted more of. Nah, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
Quote,
I,
quote,
yeah.
quote,
You know,
CT Vivian, CT Vivian, one of the nicest, most decent, saintly black men that you ever want to meet. I miss CT. I've been missing CT for a year or so since I've seen this illness progressively get worse. Maybe 2 years. I've been missing CT for 2 years, and now it's done. CT was kind. CT was caring. CT loved to groom and mentor people. He was just the opposite of John Lewis. He didn't really fight to get a whole bunch of books or films done about himself. There is a book, you don't even know much about it. It wasn't about that. He knew that he had done the best that he could. He felt most proud of his family. He was most proud that he could help somebody else.
Yeah.
He was most proud that he helped Martin Luther King, and he had done what he could do for Mrs. King. He had done what he could do for people, young people. You know, C.T. Vivian got in trouble because he created a program where black folk, black males, young males, the very populations caught all this hell back in the 70s, a program where black gangbangers would get trained to go into business, to own banks, and do all this stuff for themselves. They were so afraid of it. C.T. Vivian literally had to get out of Chicago. They're going to kill him. How dare you lift up the lowest of the low black people? Nigga, we'll kill you. You want to keep, see, people don't understand. Your audience may not understand. There are black people, they don't mind you being like Oprah and getting rich, provided you don't help other black people. Provided when they bombed the levee in Katrina, you let the people die, get eaten by crocodiles, let them get killed, and what's that place? God help me.
What is
Get killed in Algiers.
what,
It starts with the G. Gretna.
Gretna? You
Gretna?
talking about? Yeah,
Yes. I'm
Gretna,
sorry. I don't live down there.
Gretna,
Folk getting shot
Louisiana.
at in Gretna. All this stuff. Getting shot out in the parishes. The prisoners that they killed, maybe 1,000 in the swamp. If you get elected to Congress, if you become a rich black person, don't give a goddamn about the majority of black people, and we'll let you few be rich. Okay. I've had people come to me many times, and all of us that talk to each other, we get offered, why don't you just look out for yourself and let us do what we want to the rest of them? Why do they matter to you? Or or the word I was told, you have a black chip on your shoulder. You could work for me at the RNC. You could make real money. We like you. You seem to be obsessed with helping the other black people. Bitch told me this. Why why do you care so much? What is it to you? You're brilliant. You live rich. You be happy. You fly first class. Forget about the other people. And when I told her I don't do that, she says, then you're not going to get very far. Talk to a lot of black folks. And the deal was offered. We'll help you just forget about the rest of them. You can be rich. You can be happy. You can have a nice house. And you see all of these, whether they're celebrities, whether they're athletes, whether they're politicians, whether they're black business people, typically they distance themselves. You can't even get around or know or talk unless you're exactly in their class generating the same revenue. All of a sudden, there's no use for the very people that they came up from around. None of them have any value. It all has to be, and in fact, they're going to be more white folks with money, more white folks with jets, more white folks that are at the club. And before you know it, what black success really is a betrayal of the majority of black people for individuals. So it is socialized sacrifice, privatized gain. So the black teacher that taught you when your parents couldn't teach you how to read, and all the people that did for you, they ain't shit. And the folks who hook up with you once you've made it that are white, they're your real friends. Or they coons, they're your real friends. This is the model for success. I hate it. It's been offered to me many times. I'm not going to take it. I may not have two pennies to rub together, but you know what? Peace of mind and dignity, self-respect, it actually counts for something. Something I wish I could relate to my dear associate Kanye West. What does it profit a black man to have a white woman who has the ass the size of this world and to lose his soul?
Yeah. There's a lot of to take in. Yeah, we were going to get into Kanye West, but I just
I
want to.
just did. I got
Yeah,
into him.
right.
It's white ass and money at the cost of his soul. I'm not saying that the ass looks bad, and I'm not saying the money's bad. But what about your soul, brother? You talking about God every 5 minutes, and half
Yeah,
the time I can't figure out whether you know him or not. I believe that he had some kind of spiritual awakening, but my God, it's still a struggle. It's like a cousin of mine named Marvin Gaye that would snort cocaine and read scripture. I
yeah.
mean, which one you go with, baby? I mean, I ain't
But,
judge you. I'm proud of you. You've gone from
but
watching mixtapes in your dad's basement condo here in Tacoma. Now you're at the top of the world, but have you lost your soul or
yeah.
your mind?
But Marvin's daddy, wasn't he a cross dresser?
Yeah, it's an embarrassment. Sure, it was.
Yeah, he
And you
shot
know
and
what's
killed
so?
him. Yeah,
Yes, but he bought him the gun, and there was a fight.
yeah.
Okay, okay, there was a fight over. I think Mama, his
Insurance papers or something like that.
Mildred Cooper Gay. If I think her first name is Mildred, Cooper is definitely her last name because the Coopers are my grandfather's relatives. They're all from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. There was a conflict between Marvin and his dad over the affection of the mother, and ultimately, Marvin had become violent, and he's using drugs, and drugs change your behavior, and he killed his son. Sure, he did. It's awful. He was abusive when they were young. I know a little bit about this whole Pentecostal thing. Look, I love God. I've even studied to be a minister. I may even be called a reverend or pastor. I couldn't imagine dragging my children, anybody, anyone to church 7 days a week. Okay. Let God come and tell me why he needs all my time. Why didn't you just put me as an angel of heaven versus thinking I'm gonna be in church 24/7? It's insanity. I lived it. I hate it now. Okay, and I like God, love the Bible. I should say love God, love the Bible, but I mean every day, all the stuff be around the same lying ass
Yeah.
hypocrites that don't change. No. And we always sing and
Right.
start church at 8 in the morning and end at midnight. No. If
Right.
God needs that much time, let him come show me. I don't believe it.
Right. Right. I think, well, like Marvin, I think he even said he was a manic depressive. And Kanye, if I'm not mistaken, he has bipolar disorder or some kind.
Something.
Something's
Yeah.
wrong with him. And I don't know if it's the Kardashian poontang or what, too, because it's like every man they have gets in trouble some kind of way.
I don't
Whether
know. Maybe they put some PCP down up in there. I mean, I don't know to
right.
get through
Because
that. But
he wasn't like that when he was around
he
Jay-Z.
what when he was a young boy, when I saw him, nice kid, very nice kid. There are other factors at play here, and so I'm not trashing Kanye. Kanye's dad is as close to Ray West as I would say to C.T. Vivian. I like Ray West. Ray West Kanye has a really good dad, and I always tell people he has a fine father. This man loves Kanye very, very much. He did not want Kanye, if he got in the music business, to get into the mess that you see him. This is what he did not want. This was something that pulled at his father's heartstrings. That his son has this great talent, but that business, what it does to people. So I don't know if people believe in God. Pray for Kanye. Pray for Kanye's dad, Ray West. Nice person, good person, a professional counselor. A professional counselor. Kanye could go to his dad and talk through this if Kanye listened. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And I'm not trying to trash Kanye. I don't, as I said, this is very hurtful to me. This is Ray's only child. Kanye is the only child of Donda and Ray West. Donda's dead. Ray
Right.
West survived cancer. He's proud of the accomplishments of Kanye, but certain things that he feared about Kanye have happened, and there's probably a fight between perhaps where Ray West would like to see his son go and these devils out of Hollywood. And this happens with lots of people. So huge amounts of money. No one really gives a damn about Kanye except maybe his friends. It's good to see Dame Dash and Dave Chappelle and other people reach out and try to talk to Kanye. I don't know how much help they're going to provide, but it's the same way I tried to get Dave Chappelle's mom to become friends to Kanye's dad, because I figured they'd need to talk in the future. I don't know what happened with that, but I did do the introduction because both of them, I mean, this Chappelle's got one of the greatest women. I mean, I just love her. She's a beautiful mother, beautiful lady, smart lady, black and conscious. Just one of the best people you'd ever want to meet is Yvonne Sion. I'm just telling you. If
Yeah.
your life will change if you sat down with her for 5 minutes, you'd feel like your life is being changed. And Ray West is the same. That man can look at you and start putting you together. Uh, I prayed that Kanye get close to his dad. I mean, his dad, it's not even after the money. He just wants his son to be right. I know that about him.
Right. Right. His dad actually is a former Black Panther and one of the first Black photojournalists for the Atlanta Journal Constitution.
Right.
So yeah, so he's
I think
obviously
he
an
has about
activist. Yeah.
three or four graduate degrees. He's a very smart man.
Yeah.
A very,
Very.
very smart man. Very smart
Yeah.
man. A very good man. A very decent guy. He used to hang out and go to church and do all kinds of stuff. One of the coolest brothers you'd want to meet. Kanye talks a lot about his mom. He should focus a little bit you got a good dad too,
Yeah.
a real good dad.
Do you think? Well, let me ask you something. Why do you think the media? A lot of people are saying, because I guess we're going to go into politics because he's announcing his candidacy for president. People feel that this is going to take away votes from Joe Biden, but in
Right.
reality, most black.
That's good.
Well, yeah, a lot
So
of people think that that's
I
why
might
he's
vote.
there
You know
because
what?
he.
I would vote for Kanye before I vote for Biden.
Oh wow.
You bet your ass. Yes, I would never vote for Biden.
Right. A lot of people, and there was an article from Yahoo News talking about how young black voters are not feeling Joe Biden, and he doesn't really have the stronghold like a lot of people think that he has.
He hates black young people's guts. He's a fucking racist. I always tell the story of the time he knocked me down on Louisiana Avenue. I'm walking, looking at the Japanese concentration camp memorial that they have here on Louisiana Avenue in D.C. I see someone walking towards with a long felt top coat. You know, they're dressed like, you know, an important person. But I'm busy looking at this thing as I'm walking. I walk really fast. Because I'm looking at all the concentration camps by the names, I lose sight because, you know, I'm easily distracted. Your audience can tell. And Joe Biden literally knocks me over to walk through me, to avoid going around me. And when I caught myself and when I looked, I could see that bald spot and I realized it was Joe Biden. And why I'm pretty certain, I know it's Joe Biden. Joe Biden would go to get his shoes shined at Union Station, which is a big train station. Louisiana Avenue is very close to Union Station. From where that memorial was no more than, say, 4 blocks from where Joe Biden goes to get his shoes shined, or was getting his shoes shined back then.
Nah,
Joe
wow.
Biden got into the Senate campaigning against the desegregation of schools and busing. Joe Biden said that putting blacks in schools with whites would turn the schools into jungles, and he didn't want his kids going
Right.
to a jungle for a school. Joe Biden has supported mass incarceration. Joe Biden said it didn't matter why people got caught up in drugs or problems with gangs. They needed to be safe. In other words, if we whites dumped the drugs in the community, if we took all the jobs away, if we destroyed them, it's there. We're going to destroy them anyway.
Yeah. I
He's
mean,
the one that put out the super predator thing, that we're super predators. Fuck him.
yeah.
He's his whole career. Let me share this. He always worked with the white segregationists that were at play to stop Dr. King, to stop Stokely Carmichael, to stop Medgar Evers, to stop C.T. Vivian, to even stop John Lewis from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, this is who he ran with. The white Dixiecrat segregationist politicians. Give me just 1 second.
All right, take your time, Doc.
So, just no, Joe Biden has never done. Joe Biden's a liar. If you think the Ninth Ward is messed up, you should go to the Joe Biden senatorial district. The black people have nothing. Everything's bombed out and jacked up. The whole state, it's in ruins where black people live.
Yeah. So
It's a
why?
corporate. It's a corporate state. There's nothing for black people. The police kill black people in Delaware. You don't even hear about it. They lynch people in Delaware. It's okay. Nothing will be done about it. Joe Biden's at the helm. I
Yeah.
mean, Joe Biden goes to I think the Newcastle Country Club. They have a little catchment pond at the golf course where Joe Biden plays golf, and they won't seal it off or put a fence. So 2 black kids have drowned in the catchment pond because there's nothing for them to do. One was a 3 or 4-year-old baby, and the country club that Joe Biden went after and tried to prosecute the mother instead of dealing with the fact that they're negligent. They're rich fat cats. Put a damn fence up, you
Right.
racist. And then another group of black kids fell into the pond, and then one other child died. He doesn't give a fuck. Remember something, when they had the Pulse nightclub thing and
Yeah.
with the gays murdered, let me just
Yeah.
say something to you. I'm going to bring it home to you. Most of the people that got killed in the Pulse were Afro-Latino, even if they identify as white or they were black. Do you think Joe Biden or Obama hugged any black people that were mourning the deaths of their family members?
No.
No. Okay. I have an eyewitness. My cousin was one of the EMS techs that had to clean up the Pulse nightclub. And he too witnessed that black people were not touched. They didn't even say, I'm sorry for your loss. Joe Biden was the one that pushed Obama to go hard on the whole homo thing. Okay. And if my big brother's correct, my big brother asserts that Joe Biden screws black drag queens. So when he says, no, that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he asserts. I'm not saying it's true, but he also asserts that the one that he knew that used to boast and would call Joe Biden on his cell phone in front of him and sex talk with Joe, that this guy got shot and killed right after the Obama administration took office. Convenient, isn't it? If this allegation in any way is true.
Yeah. Well, Joe Biden, on top of what you said, I was just doing a phone call with Judge Brown and Valerie Denise Jones on his show, and we were discussing Joe Biden being racist.
Judge will tell you that Joe Biden is a deviant.
He's a racist,
deviant. He's a racist sex deviant. Keep the cracker you're with.
Right, and especially after
you can't get the black that you want, keep the cracker you're with. That's my suggestion for 2020. We know what Trump is. We see what he's going to do. I'll tell you something. Half the time, Trump is trying to get some black friends. At least he wants some. Joe Biden doesn't give a damn. He's had a history of insulting black people, saying stuff. You'll be in chains. He was the patron. We're talking about taking down Confederate statues. Why was this bastard the patron for daughters and sons of the Confederacy in the Senate? Joe Biden. Why is he? I mean, the one who likes the statues, and that now the statues are out. Well, he's shifted, like his sexuality, like his broke-back ass son who died down there in 2015, his little junkie son, Blunder Biden, and his other daughter, who's a crack or cocaine user too. You wrote those laws so your kids that use powder would get off, and our kids would get like 900 years in jail for a little teeny tiny crack rock trying to make it, and you're fucked up Delaware or wherever. And then your kid's been snorting and not paying child support, shoplifting and cheating for decades. You don't know who Joe Biden is because there's some kind of dirty, degenerate media conspiracy to never, ever let anything bad come out on Joe Biden. So you don't get to know anything. But I'm going to tell you something I know about Joe Biden before he got big or when he was big. Joe Biden had to drop out of the presidential race back in the 80s because he was caught lying about his resume. They taped him lying to a room, not a room full of white people, exaggerating where he went to school and his academic work because Joe Biden, aside from being a deviant, is a liar. That's why he had to drop out. Go back and look it up. He had to drop out. He had to drop out because he was lying, claiming stuff he possibly did. Had nothing to do with it. He's lying. His lying ass. He got caught. Yeah. He got caught at a private event. Yes, they set him up. The people knew that Joe Biden was a liar. All they had to do was get him talking. He would lie, and then they would put it out. And he claimed to go to school in all these places he had never been. I mean, you're in the Senate, dude. You don't have to lie. But a liar, a pathological liar, would just do that.
Yeah.
If you want Biden, go ahead. And Stacey Abrams, I have it on high account. Unfortunately, I had to do some research gossip. Stacey Abrams is a big butter biscuit lesbian. Kamala Harris ain't even black. And she's those kind of Jamaicans that hate black American people's guts. I went to Howard with her same time. I know those Jamaicans. They are nasty. Nasty. They love to run after white folks, to swirl and to sell us out.
Yeah.
They black when they get in something, they white once they got it.
Dr. Short, let me ask you this about Biden, because I do know Biden was also a protege of Strom Thurmond, Joe Stennis, Roy Orbis, who were staunch
Okay,
segregationists.
white supremacists, we hate
Yeah,
black people, no rights for black
right.
folks. So
But
why
did
should
you?
the tree fall? Is the apple going to fall across the street from the tree or right under near the roots?
Yeah. What I was going to ask you is that do you think this just thinking wildly out of the box? Because well, it's not even wildly. Just think. I think this is going to happen if by chance Biden gets elected, and he's saying that he's going to have. Okay, but hypothetical, if he. Okay,
He's going to
but
pick a white woman. He's going to pick a white woman, and all the little dumb fuck pork chop feminist bitches that think that black women are ahead of the black man. No, we black men and black women are side by side in the same trench trying to get free. If a black man thinks he's better than the black woman, he ain't shit, and the black woman ain't shit if she thinks she's more than the black man. They are masturbating black women, using black women against black people. I'm talking about the stupid, emotional, psychotic black women out there, and there are a lot of them. I mean, the ones that are in the weave and nails and narcissism. And you can't quit that. You know, ones always waving their fingers everywhere. And nobody respects them, especially the one who slept with them. These types of sisters are about to get played. Biden is going to, they've been talking about black woman for months. That is to
right, and
keep,
he supposedly is going to pick a female vice president. He narrowed it down.
he's going to pick a white woman because these white women are not going to vote, pardon my language, for black bitches. That's how they see black women. These feminists don't
Yeah.
like black women. They only like black women when they're killing black babies, divorcing black men, talking shit about black men like Bill Cosby, and supporting their issues. Where are these white holes for Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland? Where are they for these homeless black mothers with children? You can't find them. These goddamn radical carpet munching feminists are the greatest enemies that black women have ever had. These feminists fight for laws to kill live black babies. You got dumbass black women pouring after them. You better off with a black man kicking your ass that you could have dragged in court than running after one of these little chunky white women that doesn't give a damn about you. Okay, I mean, look, it's a scam. Black Lives Matter scams. Black Girl Magic is a scam. All these silly ass black female mayors who are bigger chumps than the crooked ass coon men that were there before them. They're scams like the little ugly Octavia Spencer looking trick up in Chicago. Dykefoot, her, and the one we have
Talking
in
about
DC,
Marilyn.
Bow Wow. And to have a name Bottom, I hope that's not true. Okay, for the one in Atlanta. And they had a little crooked head. Well, she's kind of cute, sort of. But the one that really looked bad, that looked like a California raisin with no wig, that's in jail now. Maybe Corona got her out. That was the one in Baltimore. Then they put the little man that looked like he's one of those retarded children that ride the yellow bus to school.
I don't know who that one is.
Now they've got another woman. I think her name is Sheila, but my friend calls her Sheila Dixon. I think she's the crook. That she probably might become mayor of Baltimore again and steal some more. Maybe they'll lock her ass up this time. This black women, get over it. You're not better than black men. You're only equal to, and if he's down, you're down too. And the black man ain't great as stupid, fake pimp wannabe brothers. You're no greater than your sisters. We're either gonna make it together or we're gonna be exterminated together. Nobody's better. I don't buy this a strong black woman. You show me strong, don't kill your babies.
Right.
Try to go to a marriage arbitration versus getting a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
Yeah. That was Stephanie Rollins Blake who succeeded Sheila Dixon. She was mayor from 2010 to 2016. So she
was stealing too. All of them hoes stole. And by the way, the one you just mentioned, the one who looked like she always wore her wigs backwards, that did what she got gastro bypass, went from being a fat girl to being slim, and that didn't, man, she did more hot dogs in the ballpark. That's what people were saying in Baltimore. I don't know, I'm reputable people. So she's a tramp. They're tramps. Oh my God. I love a lot of stuff in Baltimore, but there are a lot of tramps there. It is the New Orleans of the Mid-Atlantic. Okay, I think the only thing is they don't have Mardi Gras and they don't have the French Quarter, but man, do they have tramps? Tramp, 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 tramp. Okay, I'm telling Chip Tina, if y'all say down there, big time.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about the people per se, but I'm talking about that the one that was with that let the people set the fires in 2015 when they killed Freddie Gray. What a tramp! And Sheila is a crook. They're all crooks. They all steal, and some of them screw too. I mean, so that's like a valid criminal. They hold and they steal, and at least you get her own money. So they when they screw, it's for fun. It's not to get money.
Yeah, you're right. I did the
I'm
tramps.
just saying.
Yeah, I lost words on that one, Doc. But I didn't want to ask you this because we got about 20 minutes left. I want to ask you about the Nick Cannon situation. Nick Cannon was on. Well, he has a podcast called
This
Cannon's Class.
time, I'm gonna just go straight for it.
Go ahead.
Nick Cannon, if you weren't going to stand by it, you shouldn't have said it. You have $60 million. You can retire and stand up. There are a lot of black folks, myself included, who stood on principle, who didn't have any money. You've got 60 million and you step back, you didn't stand in your square. You should have gotten yourself some experts and some other people to help explain or flesh out what you were saying. You didn't do that. Um, what Nick Cannon and other people do, I don't know. And I don't know if people need to have some kind of. Let me share with you what's going on. I'm going to tell you this. This Black Flags Matter thing that they've set up has made a lot of the hip hop people who are not relevant to the black struggle or black people moving ahead. They've been a big detriment. I've been praying for years for hip hop to bottom out like disco did. One day people just get tired of hip hop and all of this shit disappeared. The little ugly tattoos and all the fake stupid shit that people have been doing for the last 35 years. I wish I could put it all in a big celestial toilet stool and flush it, but I can't. What's happening is black people are moving and nobody's buying a lot of the shit that these people are making and they're trying to find their audience. I've seen this happen in my lifetime when there was a shift from just commercial black music, baby love, to what's going on, right? There was a
Right.
shift from making music to sell to making music that said something because the audience shifted. There's a shift in how certain black people are looking at reality. And they're finding a lot of our sorry ass actors, entertainers, celebrities, and athletes. They're fuck ups. They're traitors. They're sellouts. They're
Yeah.
useless. They're not in sync. They're off code. Now these folks are trying to get on the damn train and say and do stuff so people won't think that their asses are has been. Well, the
Right.
train long since left. People aren't buying this shit. And thanks to COVID, nobody, you know what? All the hip hop people, they weren't making any money off streaming. They're not CDs don't sell anymore, not typically. Although if you're lucky, you have some vinyl buyers, maybe that they're not making the money that they used to make. Nobody in the arts is making it. You know this, so do I. So, and then COVID comes along because these people are making their money off concerts, personal appearances, and selling
Yeah.
T-shirts and concerts and other kind of
Right.
stuff. And now COVID comes along and takes that away. What are they going to do? Those who don't have a lot of money stacked up. Now, Ice T may have some money. Ti may have some money set aside, but there are a bunch of these people. They fake. They're liars. They're in hock to their companies. They got to pay their entourage. They got to pay all the little video holes that jiggle. It ain't free.
Yeah.
Boobies jiggling and all that
But
ain't free. You had to pay someone to jiggle their ass for you. It's not free. All of these people, the overpriced fake ass jewelry that they get, they're broke. They're
right.
lying, saying that they're ballers. They are ballers. They're broke ballers. Okay. So now that everything is shifting, and they see something quite unusual with these Black Bags Matter thing. They see it's mostly white, Asian, and Latino. They're looking at a new group of people they need to market their music to. So they're trying to be relevant to catch on to this radical chic. Aretha Franklin tried this shit with Eleanor Rigby and other stuff. When people got tired of soul and soul power, Aretha tried to catch on with the damn hippies and it didn't work. And it's not that Aretha wasn't great, it just didn't happen. And Aretha was standing for something all along. These niggas haven't stood for anything for the most part, and they're not relevant. So, Nick Cannon, I'm not saying he's wrong. I would tell anybody I'm a Gelato. My family from Georgia. It's a mixture of black and Jew on both sides of my family. They were owned by Jews. One side, the Jewish woman wanted to screw an African man, wanted to dick so bad. She said, "I'll give you freedom. You give me a dick in your pants." Where's the freedom?
Right. And yeah, I mean, there were Jews that participated in the slave trade, and I don't know why people.
I'm saying to you that my family was owned by the Sellers family of Washington County and Lincoln County, Georgia. Jews,
Yeah.
Jews. My grandmother's name is Marie Sellers, spelled Zellers or Ars. It's a Jewish name. Fuck anyone that doesn't like the truth. I am who the hell I am. Okay, if it's racist, if it's anti-Semitic for me to acknowledge my heritage, fuck all the people who think that. It's bullshit. We need to. Nick Cannon should take the position I am. What I am who I am. What is it is, and if you don't like it, that's your damn problem. Okay, Savannah, Georgia, first Jewish synagogue in North America, if I'm correct, where my folks were brought in from Southern Africa. Okay. And like I said, a white woman, Jewish, bought a black man and married his ass when that's illegal. She wanted to make certain she got this. Oh my God, we don't have this where it come from. Right. That's how my family started. What am I to do? I didn't ask for my heritage, and I'm not going to let some assholes at the ADL tell me I can't be me for these fake Khazarians to pretend that they're the original Hebrews. It's biologically and genetically false. And Nick Cannon shouldn't have said it. He could have paid with his $60 million if he wanted to impress black folks. Have something on biblical truth, and antiquities truth. But see, these people are so obsessed with being in the spotlight, they got to do it all. I tell you something I like about Jewish people. Jewish folks will get another group of people to put their stuff out there. Nick Cannon could have paid a Jewish scholar to say the same thing. And they would have had to just, I mean, you're at Howard, and he should know better. And if he studied at Howard, as I told the brother last night, the ADL keeps the Africana Studies Department at Howard under lock and key, and almost had it closed. That's the other reason that Nick Cannon got punished, that you need to understand. There was an agreement that Howard not create black people who are critical of Israel or Zionism. Mm-hmm. Nick Cannon wasn't told the whole deal. They were so caught up in having a celebrity, and I'm not knocking him. I have nothing against Nick Cannon. So you haven't heard me. But Nick, if you step, they've been Jews. If they're real good to you, got $60 million. Trust me, Anglos don't run Hollywood. Jewish people have been very good to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon needs to know how to disagree with them politely. If you're gonna stay on their tit, that's like you suck a woman's tit, calling her a bitch, fighting on it. You're not gonna eventually have a fight. She's gonna get some fish grease or something. Go put it to an end. Right. So he's been on their tit since he's a baby, getting rich. Then all of a sudden you get to Howard and you want to look good in front of Professor Griff, who has a bad relationship with Jews going back to the late 1980s. When I was a student at Harvard, you couldn't play Public Enemy, and they weren't welcome to come to Harvard's campus. I remember meeting Chuck D and Sister Soldier back in 1990. Wow, that's 40 years ago. And I remember a white Jewish guy getting up asking Chuck D, did you release Fear of a Black Hat to insult Jews because it came out on Passover? And Chuck D said, I don't even know when Passover is. So I'm going to pass over your question. I remember howling. That was hilarious.
Yeah, Professor Griff. What's interesting too, I don't know if you know this, but Rabbi Abraham Cooper, who was on Nick Cannon's podcast that aired earlier this week to this Minister, he talked about why they didn't like Minister Farrakhan. I noticed uh, his body language and behavior. He annoyed and avoided questions about white supremacy and so forth. But he was actually the rabbi that got Professor Griff kicked out of Public Enemy because he talked about how he put Public Enemy on the map with having him on the Today Show and the New York
He
Times and
probably
so forth.
did.
Right.
Who runs that business? Look, this is not a Jew bashing session. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say just a person of at least whether people own me or claim me. I don't care. I mean, what is. And I'm not alone. There are hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of black folks of Jewish descent, both from the Khazars and also from the people who came over from Africa. There were Hebraic people all over Africa. The little pale ones that you see are absolute minority of people of Jewish descent in the world. Okay, I'm sorry if they have a problem with that. Suffer with the truth. We suffer with bad food and usury and a lot of stuff. Suffer with reality. Everybody Jewish is not white, and people from the Black Sea region are not genetically Hebrews. They never have been, never will be. You can take it, you can kill people, you can intimidate people, you can bully people. It won't make it so. Okay? That's just how it is. And that's how Meghan Markle has a British royal bloodline, brown or otherwise, that not even little Windsors that don't want her open a little funky castle, they're probably raping kids. She's got more royal ancestry than they do. And they white up in the castle. They were haters, okay?
Yeah.
Read Deuteronomy 28, but I want to say this real fast. Farrakhan is the best thing that ever happened to organized Jewry in America. The Jewish organizations were losing money, losing members. When Farrakhan came out in 1984, said, if you should touch this brother, heads will roll. If you touch my brother Jesse, if I have to tell you Jews, don't bother Jesse. He'll be the last brother that you hurt. Right? When Farrakhan did that, and he said to Jewish people practicing a dirty religion, he said, not a gutter, he said dirty. He was saying that people that call themselves Jewish weren't practicing what? The commandments or whatever Farrakhan assumed.
Yeah.
Whatever he thought, okay, they went after Farrakhan, but let's look at it. Who got the most out of it? The Jewish organizations. Farrakhan is like the Ed McMahon. He's like the Donald Trump of getting Jewish people to give charitable contributions to organizations that keep Jewish people pissed and mad about the Holocaust, keep them vigilant. Farrakhan's the best thing that ever happened to him. You know, Farrakhan is like Farrakhan is someone that helps them come together when they were falling apart. So to me, it's a lot of hype around Farrakhan. Farrakhan's family from the Caribbean. I repeat this, and I'm going to be very clear. Farrakhan, like a lot of folks in the Caribbean, are descendants of Jewish slaveholders and black women. Your constituent asked me, there's a serious racial problem in Israel, not just with Ethiopian Jews, but with Mizrahi, aka Oriental Jews, who had a black power movement in Israel. Because the Mizrahi, the Arab or the Eastern Jews from Yemen and other places, in fact, it's alleged that the Israelis either misplaced or killed somewhere between 5 to 50,000 Yemeni children. That's what the white Jews did to the brown Jews.
Yeah.
And they have concentration camps that they keep black people in the Sinai. One of them is called Palat. I think it's spelled Helot, but you can find it. Just Google. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember 10 and 30, 40 ideas and dates. I know I do these shows. I really don't. I get annoyed with black folks that don't read, that don't take notes. And I'm not going to remember. I mean, there's different languages and such. And then folks think this shit's all free. They keep thinking black people like we're freaks and it's not worth any money, but then ask you a trillion questions. Okay, the Ethiopian Jews are the victims of eugenics and systematic oppression abuse. It's a fact. The real, original black Jews get dogged in Israel. They just do. They systematically, to prevent, in fact, the current prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, I call him Satanyahu, said that black people were a curse on Israel, and they were offering black people money. Just get the fuck out, go the fuck back after here. Want to check? Just leave. We want to be white, right? This idea of Zionists or Israel being white is a racist European idea. It's not based in historical fact.
No, it's not.
Poor Nick Cannon, poor, and Professor Griff should know better. They've already been through this stuff, but I'll just say this to you. Why not? Why didn't they have some Ethiopian Jews be interviewed? I wouldn't have even jumped in the middle of it. I would have gotten me some Falashas and other people, or Lembas. The most Hebrew people in the world are the Lemba people of the Eastern Cape of South Africa. They are the most connected to the brother Aaron of Moses. Fact. I mean, that's all you have to do to make them get the hell out of your face. It's facts. And it's shameful that Nick and other people didn't do that. I mean, come on, just some common sense informational maneuvers. Are they going to tell me that the Lemba people are fake? Are they going to argue with the people down at the University of Tel Aviv and University of Jerusalem that they don't know what they're talking about when they start saying that these black people are the most Jewish people in the world, or the Igbos and southeastern Nigeria have rituals that are so consistent with the Old Testament? People concede that the Igbos, of which I'm probably part through my mother's family somehow, that these people are Jews. The white Jew is a recent phenomenon of Jews being seen as exclusively a white people. It's never been the case. And Farrakhan, frankly, I would say has been a blessing to Zionism. They made all kinds of money, but people need to understand one thing. When Farrakhan said what he said about, if you should hurt this brother, he'll be the last brother you hurt, right? When Farrakhan said that, the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, had bombed Jesse Jackson's offices in New York. For all that you don't hear about when Jews like, say, George Zimmerman, who's Jewish, who murdered Trayvon Martin, who's black, and Zimmerman's a Jew. Zimmerman's a Jew. Zimmerman's a Jew. They kept saying he's half Hispanic. He's half Hispanic. He's half Hispanic. And I went to a meeting with a bunch of Jews. He says, well, what's the other half? And he says, we're not going to discuss this, right? In other words, we're not going to acknowledge that the racism of this man, okay, what could be in part because he has intolerant Jewish people as well as intolerant Latino people in his family. Trust me, if George Zimmerman had just been a Latino that hated blacks, his ass would have been in jail. He would have been everybody's Lola Falana by now. It's because his father is a high-ranking, powerful Jewish man that he got shielded from all of that. In fact, that's how I got in trouble with the ADL. I made a comment that the Florida, the upper level judiciary of Florida was corrupt. That's all I said. And they said I was an anti-Semite. I'm an anti-Semite for citing that the judiciary is corrupt. What does that tell you went through Mr. Abraham Fox's mind? Is he saying that all the judges are Jewish? I didn't say that. I didn't know that to be the fact. Why did, unless they are, and I didn't know them when I said they're corrupt, people can agree. Yeah. And I'm not even trying to talk about all Jews. I'm trying to talk about a system or structure. If it's a Jews in it that are bad, well, hey, it is what it is. They're good Jews too.
Yeah. They definitely like, and then Charlemagne the God, I think he doubled down and supported Nick Cannon on Breakfast Club, and said Jews have all the power. And subsequently, he does another podcast with a Jewish cohort, Andrew Schultz, who I think was critical of that. But when you talk about
Jews don't have all the power. Jews don't have all the money. It's not true. Um, but some Jewish people are super powerful. I mean,
yeah,
hell. But they work together. They're organized. They mobilize. They do stuff. Our people are very powerful, but we choose not to be. We elect to be weak. We elect to be divided. We elect to be bitches. We elect not to protect our women. We elect to allow our women to be masculinized and our males to be feminized. We elect not to do business with each other. We elect not to protect each other. We elect not to invest in each other. We elect not to stand up collectively. These are choices. These are negative freedoms. I have the freedom to say, I'm going to disrespect you, Brother Kevin. I have the negative freedom to not show up on time for the interview. A lot of black folks think what you're able to do is necessary positive. No, many of the things that you're able to do are negative. I can overeat. I can overscrew. I can oversleep. I can be lazy. I can do things that I'm free to do that don't enhance me. Or I can elect to do things that might help me but may demand something of me, right? We I'm kind of glad that the rappers and people in trouble. I'm disgusted by mumble rap where we celebrate not mastering even the English language. And then they're bringing Spanish into the workforce where you're not going to be able to work because you can't speak Spanish and your ass doesn't speak English either. And we've made being stupid into an art form. To hell with that.
yeah.
And
Well,
as for Charlemagne the God, he needs to take that sissy flag off of his head. To me, I don't care how he's living. We're the only people to show you how weak we are is we allow folks to bully us even around sexuality. Private personal matters. We're not allowed to stand for that. They would never force a Spanish speaking person to put a gay flag up, even if they're Roman Catholic at a church full of priests that rape kids. On the surface, at least, they want to look wholesome. We don't even demand the right to at least represent ourselves as being decent. So Charlemagne the God has no moral, ethical credibility for me. And when Charlemagne the God will stand up to Joe Biden and the other fake ass people in the Democratic Party, the way he jumped on Angela Stanton King, I mean, when you show me the same accountability that you would hold a little fake ass Hindu Brahmin who sees black people as subhuman trash named Kamala Harris, to let her sit up and talk about Cardi B. I mean, what the fuck, man? Mm-mm. I don't care. And that's why they let people like them have a big platform because they won't educate, they won't stand to play us. Now I see what's going on. Charlemagne and all these other people trying to beat up their flaccid black credentials because the shit's busted down in real bad. And they still support Black Lives Matter, which is a bunch of bulldaggers, white, billionaire, corrupt globalists who hate black guns, who want us to get that vaccination to kill us from COVID-19. Will Charlemagne and these other niggas with platforms dare tell the truth, dare stand up for black folk, or just be paid bitches, rich ass slaves? That's all these people are. They're mind control agents. You will not stand up, and if you're afraid, Muhammad Ali walked away from the heavyweight championship of the world over his president. I wouldn't have wanted Muhammad Ali to go without the money. But you know what? More people remember him for that than all the fights that he did win.
mm-hmm.
Our pride and our dignity has value. Anyone that does not believe that is an enemy. That's inclusive of all the celebrities. Four stated names I mentioned here is Charlemagne. Our dignity counts. Anyone that's against our dignity, our autonomy, our self-reliance, our self-respect collectively is an enemy of black people. And the only reason that they're getting away is that there are too few people like me, but a day is coming, and it's soon to be here, where black folks are going to scrutinize folks who have platforms that could have done something. And if they found wanting people like me that criticize them with this mouth, we're going to look passe. I'm actually a conservative person. A radical person is going to want to bust certain people upside the head, want to go and physically put hands on them. This is where we're going to be in 5 to 10 years when black folks figure this Boule thing out, when black folks figure out that they've been betrayed. They're not going to be kind to anyone that can't demonstrate that they stood for the 90% of black folks who are catching hell. 10% are doing great. The talented 10 doesn't give a damn about us. A significant number of them don't. And that's what matters.
Amen. That is what matters. And Doc, before we go off the air, I appreciate your time. Did you want to plug in something before we leave?
Well, just to encourage people to look at Pace News online, to let people know we didn't talk about Roger Stone. If you want to take a couple more minutes, let's do that. Roger Stone got lied on by Mo Kelly, who's out in the radio station in Los Angeles. Roger Stone is going to drop an article in the next day or two. I'll send it to you explaining his stance. All white people aren't racist and all white folks aren't enemies. Some white folks can truly be, not so much people we depend on, but people that at least we don't have to have an adversarial relationship with. Harriet Tubman, everybody in the Underground Railroad, Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everybody at some point had to deal with people who were not black to achieve certain ends towards freedom. Until we control everything institutionally of our own with people for us, we're going to find ourselves in many instances needing to work with whoever we can work with, who are for what is right versus what is wrong. So to the extent that I've worked with Roger Stone to advocate around issues for Haiti, to fight pedophilia, to fight genocide and slavery in Libya, to fight against contaminated water supplies for black communities, and for fighting against mass incarceration for black men in America, to the degree that Roger Stone will meet with me at least more than half the way and is willing to extend a hand for me to get a message out or to get other people. Roger Stone is a friend and a brother. I know plenty of black folks I went to and pleaded for prisoners, for everybody else. There's a guy named Roger Wilkins. You can find there's a really good story about his impression on racism and how bad racism is. But when there was a black grandmother in jail for crime she didn't commit, said the judge that was forced to convict her under these war on blacks laws, I was turned away by Roger Wilkins. I was turned away by the NAACP. I was turned away by practically everybody to get a black grandmother out of jail whose family was dying.
Mm-hmm.
I've had those experiences where I didn't ask anyone white. I went to black people who were supposed to care, and I was told, fuck you, nigger. And it wasn't for me. I didn't get anything. I didn't get paid. I wanted to get a black
You wanted
woman.
justice, yeah.
Yes, well, that basically people, they told me, oh, you're a dreamer. What you need to do is set up a 501c3. I think, well, the lady needs to get released now. And I said, yeah, I hear you, Randy. You want to do good. And the reality, they were giving me good advice. If you want to help people, you need to get to the business of setting Negroes free. But if you just want to help someone who just got popped in the head by the cops or set out, you may find yourself turn people that are supposedly for our community are heartless. So Stone started fighting against mass incarceration at least 18 years ago. And I'm talking about putting real money on it. Something that John Lewis and Maxine Waters fought for black mass incarceration. Yes, they did. Roger Stone, who folks assume Republican, white, he has to be this crazy racist that hates all black people, but he raised millions of dollars to fight against mass incarceration. John Lewis and Maxine Waters saints, and we should love them and worship them forever, replace Jesus. And they're black, so they can fuck us, but they're good. A white gentleman who may have a shady past, but has done something to try to help black folks, in particular poor, struggling black people, and has stuck to it for 20 years. He's a racist, and we have to assume every other word that comes out of his mouth is nigger or negro or some kind of slur. Come on, man. That's stupid.
So he didn't call Mo Kelly a Negro?
Listen to the thing. You can't hear anyone saying anything. It's Mo Kelly insisting that that was said. You mean in Hollywood with an entrenched
I haven't listened
mainline
to it.
station, a radio station, y'all can't make your audio work. Anyone can come in the audio and anyone can say anything on the audio. So if you can't secure that in a court of law, even if he did say it, he's going to, unless he can prove that. And here's one thing that I've got to say to you. There's a thing called phone records, and they also have, that they're
Right.
following everything Roger Stone does. The government has a recording of everything Roger Stone said, meaning that if Roger Stone said it, he'll get busted for it because they can get those recordings. But if he didn't say it, and all of these newspapers on a Saturday night started putting this thing out, not alleged, but that he did do it without them having the tape. My God, that's a rush to judgment. That's a major lawsuit. He's going to end up being one of the richest men you ever met because he's going to sue all these people that said he did something without them even having evidence. It was a rush to judgment. We need to be very careful. If they can do this to just round up anybody white they don't like, you know what will happen to us. We should be against the overreach of the police state in this country. And he's been doing it for decades, so it's not new. Last but not least, I would just say to people, drop me a piece, keep your eyes peeled, keep praying for coon busters. It's going to happen. The next time I talk to you, I should have a copy of my book. I've been waiting for like a year. You have no idea COVID came.
Yeah.
So hope I'll have a galley copy of my book I can talk to you about.
Sure.
And hopefully look for Negro Gate. I need to sit down maybe today, tomorrow, and start putting some pieces out for Pace News Online. And if folks want to reach out to me, as you know, they can send me an email, they can reach me LinkedIn. In about 9 days, I'll be back on Facebook. And I'm hoping pretty soon you're going to see a really nice screen that will say Coon Busters or Coon Buster, I'm sorry, with my information. I got to get a sign up here, and you can be a Coon Buster. You know, your head's kind of big, but we'll make a hat to fit you. Now he's mad at me. I got you, but we're
My
gonna have Coon Buster hats.
my my head is perfect in symmetry, Doc. Yeah.
I could know.
Yeah.
You know what? In fact, watch for Stacey Abrams and watch for this woman, this abortion queen that they were running for John Lewis' seat. She's very toxic looking. Um,
Yeah.
but be ready. Let me tell you something. The Boule, these folks are terrified of a grassroots movement. The artists are afraid of the grassroots movement. I'm hoping that Coon Bust and there are hundreds of groups of black people that start saying, we're tired of sellout leaders. We're tired of coons. We're tired of people. And we're going to come after them. And, I, I that's actually hope. The other thing I will say to you, and I'll stop here, hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine with zinc works. Get yourself some, folks. It's going to be a rough time. They're going to let this disease spread. It's a lie that hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. If you have any interest, want to find out about it, wrandyshoot@gmail.com, which is also my PayPal. Um, and drop me a piece. But the hydroxychloroquine works. I've been using it. And I'm going to Kentucky next week. I'm going to fly on a plane to Nashville. And yes, I'm going to take a hydroxychloroquine and at least 400 milligrams of zinc to make certain I kill everything. And then when I get back on the plane, I'm going to take it again. Hydroxychloroquine is cheap. You do need a prescription. It does prevent you from getting corona. We don't have to die. And as much as you've been told Trump hates all black people, Donald Trump literally fought to make hydroxychloroquine available because he was told black people would die disproportionately from corona. I know because I helped write the letter that he read. Trump ain't perfect. A cracker clock can be right twice a day, and he's right twice about one thing. One, put money in black schools, and two, do something for black folks who need a second chance. And then we can say the clock is right about hydroxychloroquine, and we can say the clock is right that we shouldn't be overrun by illegals. Biden is full of shit. Biden's a racist. Biden's a liar. My brother, you need to look at the Florida Central Times. It has an article about lynching in Delaware. I know for a fact because I was in the anti-lynching coalition in Delaware. Joe Biden is a monster. If black folks want to die, you want to get killed, you want to get hurt. Trump, problematic in many ways, but what you see is what you get. Biden is a grinning racist. And I'll tell you something, as a country boy, a wild animal grins at you before it bites the shit out of you. Over and out. I'm out. You gotta take care.
All right, thank you, Dr. Short. And that is our time here on Gavin Richard Presents, only on channel G Boot 2786 and my self-entitled YouTube channel, Gavin Richard. That was Dr. Randy Short. I was trying to get him back though for that head comment because he's got the Afro-American Jason Voorhees hairstyle going on right there. I find it very funny. Well, at any rate, guys, that is it for me. Tune in next time. We'll have another broadcast. We thank Dr. Short for coming on. I thank you all for your comments. Please subscribe to the channel, GBoo2786 and Gavin Richard. Also, please donate to the Cash App that you see in the ticker down there, Gavin Richard Esquire, as well as gavin.grich1@gmail.com through Google Pay. Guys, that is my time. We are out, and I will see you in about. See, I did that one. Peace.